Thank you, sir, for the kind introduction. Cataract surgical training is very crucial for the future of ophthalmology and eye care. Here, next few minutes, I'll be sharing the curriculum which we follow at the Eye Foundation. This publication of relevance to this talk, where they have compared residency program of 20th versus 21st century, and on an average, the number of cataract surgeries done were 150 to 200, and they concluded that the need for a uniform and a robust residency training program throughout the country. As a training center, it should possess the physical space for wet lab, microscope, and good quality instrument and consumables. Inside the theater, the operating microscope should have a beam splitter with an observer arm, a closed circuit TV, and a recording facility. Training doesn't happen in a vacuum, so the curriculum should be structured to impart the right knowledge, skills, and the appropriate attitude to a resident to become a competent surgeon. We start the wet lab training around 4 to 6 months for small incision cataract surgery, and they learn to perform phaco in the final year. When they do the first case, it depends upon the surgical aptitude of the resident as well as a trainer's judgment about the resident's readiness to operate. They should be formally oriented to the training schedule and the program to keep them engaged. No one is a born cataract surgeon, so a right attitude should be set at the beginning of the training, telling the importance of spending considerable time and effort before surgery, and also highlighting the importance that patient and their outcomes always comes ahead of their training. To acquire basic knowledge, there are excellent books available for small incision cataract surgery and phacoemulsification to learn the step-by-step surgery. And also they highlight in a complicated cases what to do, what not to do, and why so. To supplement it, we have surgical videos available in itube.net and youtube.com, where experienced surgeons transform the theory into practical skills. We also have a WhatsApp group where the residents share a video and initiate discussion and clear their doubts. There is also a set of lectures to be attended and modules to be written. It is comprehensive and it covers from basic relevant anatomy to IOL power calculation and complication management. This will be covered in a month of starting of their training. OT observation is of immense importance. They should also understand sterilization protocols and learn to give blocks. They should familiarize themselves with the instruments they are going to use. Spending time after theater, they should learn how to drive the scope and know the adjustments in the foot pedal, how to switch on the microscope and adjust focus and magnification. This will make them comfortable when they are operating. Not only they should observe through the observer's arm or the TV, much has to be concentrated outside the scope, like how to perfectly drape the eye, the correct way of holding the fluid syringe, and how comfortably to place their hand so that they are not impeding the view of the microscope. They should also experiment with the table height and the chair height to sit comfortably with the feet on the foot pedals. This is going to increase the comfort and alleviate the long-term posture-related problems. Once they acquire the basic knowledge, next to transform into skills, which is practiced with wet lab. At least 2 to 4 hours per week should be practiced in wet lab. Here they learn how to operate a microscope, learn hand-eye coordination, practice sutures, and tunneling and rhexis on both sides, or a donor eye not suitable for keratoplasty. This is a simple but yet useful device called the spring action apparatus for fixation of eyeball, devised by Arvind Hospital Pondicherry, which helps in fixing the eyeball so that they can practice comfortably. Phacoemulsification skills like phaco-dynamics and foot pedal coordination should be learned in wet lab. And the frozen nucleus obtained from SICS can be placed inside the practice eye, which gives them a real-time effect of practicing the quadrant emulsification. The wet lab should be always supervised and monitored. This is the form which they fill where they write number of tunnels they made, difficulties faced, and things learned. And even after starting a training, if a resident is feeling uncomfortable in any step, they should go back to wet lab and practice. So focus more on a continuous learning rather than fixation. Before entering the theater, I asked them few questions individually covering various aspects of the cataract surgery. And once they are efficient in handling a microscope and have thorough understanding of the basics, they enter the theater. I emphasize on good case selection, knowing thoroughly about the patient, both eyes and systemically also. While operating, I always ask them to concentrate on keeping the eye in primary position and pivoting and floating instruments so that it does not collapse the AC. Even a small air bubble can impede their view, so never operate without proper visualization. They should know the reason for every step of every case. My final piece of advice will be speed will come with experience. As a trainer, I implement reverse training, teaching the basic steps and then moving on to advanced like REXs. If any complication happens, I stop and swap. And also ask them why the complication happened, what could have been done to avoid it, and what is their way of management. Always tailor your training depending whether you are a beginning surgeon or a final year. Once they finish, they should do two things. Surgically audit their own case, concentrating on each step, time spent, and the areas of improvement. Next, they fill up this form where they able to self-scrutinize themselves over time. So they compare themselves with themselves. So it prevents them falling behind. So when dealing with a complication, discuss what went well and what didn't. Try to give a constructive feedback. Identify the areas that need more practice if they're getting a repeated complication. Post-op, they should be encouraged to see all the post-op patients. And this is the sheet where they write the pre-op and post-op astigmatism and complete refraction at 6 weeks. So this helps them to learn about surgically induced astigmatism, IOL calculation errors, and the amount of trauma they are inducing to the eye. The learning curve is going to be steep with speed bumps and pitfalls. If they are self-motivated and if they have the dedication to learn from each and every case, they can become a competent surgeon. In this post-COVID era, much has to be given importance to web-based discussion of surgical videos and effective lab training. So our role as a trainer is not only to create surgeon, but surgeon of highest type. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tamilarati. Dr. Mohan Rajan, sir, I would like to ask you for what would your advice be, what your tip would be to the postgraduates of trying to get them accustomed to using the microscope, sir?
Absolutely, sir. I think Tamilarasi has nailed the head, hit the nail on the head with all the points she has covered very beautifully. But the most important aspect is, I feel, is that the familiarity with the microscope is the most important thing. Because the problem is, when the postgraduates, of course, they are, of course, all other steps also have to be learned, but the familiarity with the microscope is one of the most important things they have to learn. They need to know how to find focus from the cornea to the anterior capsule to the posterior capsule. Half the time you see that they are not zoomed up very properly or over zoomed, or they are not seeing properly. Because they are not seeing properly, they are not doing the surgery properly, and that is the reason why they are having complications. And that is exactly, when you have a small pupil, you are not able to see well, that's why you have complications. Similar to that. So the residents have to be taught to use the microscope very judiciously, very effectively, and that how to use the foot switch, because they need to know that the coordination, both the hands working, both the feet working, both the ears working, both the eyes working, both sides of the brain working. All this has to work in unison. So in a phacoemulsification or SICS or a microsurgery for that matter. So Tamilarasi, well done. All the protocols, whatever we follow, I think they are also following. I am sure these are the basic protocols everybody should do that. And also every day, they have to see the video. Whatever they have recorded, they have to go through the videos, the recording, and find out, even if it's not done a mistake, whether they have done it properly, and probably show it to a senior person, to the trainer, and if they have had a complication, and come back and go read about it. And that is, I think this is a continuous process.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.